I found them a bit loud. They did. Hello, Rosemary. I know you'll be here if you're not here. Hang on. Let me just get that. Have I? Yes. Right button. Right button. You want to trace? Yeah. Do you want to trace? So you're going to wing it?
I can try winging it. What's everybody else doing?
Well, I've traced. Daniel, are you traced?
If you're tracing, I'll trace as well.
I'll trace.
Is it carbon paper?
Yeah, it's graphite carbon stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, bird song, bird song. Yeah, I got there for 3 o'clock.
Well, we got to the place thinking we were going to eat at 2. The food didn't get there till 3.
Oh,
We're
blimey.
going to miss you. So that's why we went there at the beginning. But it was fine. And my parents were there. I don't know if you saw who I was with. But my parents came. The person who played buttons was there.
That was nice.
And apparently, one of the Ugly Sisters caught the end of you as well. They arrived when you were doing the Muppet one.
Oh, okay.
So,
I know Liz liked that. Liz likes the Muppet Show and the Muppet Christmas.
The Muppet's Christmas Carol. It's not Christmas without watching that.
No. But I've said to them they need to relocate Santa.
Well, it used to be the stage was the other end.
Yeah. And I said no, because when they told me at 3 o'clock, because I had the feeling that I'd be announcing Santa, and I found the magical sleigh jingly music, and I said to them, they said, "Oh, what Santa will do is when you see him, you can direct everybody's attention, and those that can't see him in the balcony, he will run from one window of the town hall to the next. They'll open the windows, the curtains, and you'll be on some ladders." And I said, so how do I see when Father Christmas comes to the balcony? Because the tree is still in the way for me. But actually it wasn't. It was just slightly off to the right.
Well, I saw him when he was at one end of the balcony, you could see him, at the other end you couldn't. So
No. But he didn't run from window to window.
No, it's from one end of the balcony to the other.
Yeah, but the plan was he was going to go in and then go into the town hall, up some steps, and then... But none of that worked. But never mind. But it was a nice evening. I doubt I'll get that good spot next year.
No. Well, it was good.
Well, I tried to be interactive, you see. So I liked the Let It Snow. We had a town centre choir for the song Let It Snow, because there's 3. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. So I was singing, and then the crowd had to, half was the one Let It Snow, the other half was the other Let It Snow, and then all of them was the third Let It Snow. It was very good.
And you managed to split us up, which was quite nice in a way.
Yeah. It's good fun. It's a nice evening. How are you doing, Rosemary? I've just realised my tracing is quite light. I'm just checking the microphone works because I've been having issues. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I've already done this picture today, but I only had 45 minutes this morning in Wardington Art Group. So this was my 45-minute untraced sketch.
Oh, beautiful.
Which isn't too bad, with a bit of embossing. So that was good fun. Except my flipping camera, that I've got a different visualizer, my original visualizer, that I take to Wardington, and for some weird reason it would not focus. The autofocus wouldn't work. Nothing. I unplugged it, plugged it back in, didn't work. So for the whole demo, nothing. And then I restarted the computer because I couldn't do that while it was live, and went on to the iPivo, which is the brand camera site, which is what I used to record the lessons from before we did all of this, because you can't do a live stream through it. And then it started working fine. The camera was working, it just wouldn't focus. So
is that your mobile setup then?
what's that? What I have here is what I have at Wardington.
Okay. If you go to your camera settings in the OBS app.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You should be able to right click in properties, and I believe there is preferences that you can set there.
Okay.
Which you can turn autofocus down. I had the same problem, and I did it through the software as opposed to.
Oh, okay. Because normally, if there's a little button on this camera, and then you press that, it changes the focus. but it just
I'll have a look
just,
at it
just
after the
wouldn't
fact.
work. Wouldn't work at all. I've tried to keep this warm in here. I've got both heaters on because obviously this hasn't been used since 2 o'clock Saturday, and it was like a fridge in here.
Is it just us?
Yeah, and drove me online.
See what you mean about it being small grid?
It is a small. Normally there's Pam, but Pam's poorly.
It's definitely going to work better for me then if it's
Poorly Pam.
not fighting for spaces.
No. Gosh, no. Well, I was in two minds. I thought, do I run it today because there are so few? But if I did that on a Monday, then I'd never run it. I did that. This was Saturday's class. This was my toadstool gouache class.
What?
Nice.
I didn't know that was on. I was working Saturday anyway. But
Oh, some blue card. Snowy
Is that
toadstools.
to join in or is that a demonstration?
No, that was a full blown class, 2-hour class.
On Saturday?
I don't do them any for next year. They're not in for next
No,
year.
well, I didn't know they were in this year.
Yeah, I only once a month, and I've struggled to run them.
Is that gouache specifically?
No, they were different. It's once a month, and it was a different subject, different medium, different everything. But I've cancelled out of 6, only 2 ran, so I'm not putting them on next year. But what I have said is, if I come up with something, I'll ask around, and if there's 5 people or 3 or 4 people that want to do it, then I can put it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's just really difficult because some Saturdays I can be running up and down stairs, and it's not that financially viable. You done?
sorry.
Oh dear me.
Oh, I needed that. But yeah.
I've got some matcha tea to try and wake me up a little bit. I forgot I've got it on. What's that?
Yeah, is that so we can give them to our friends and family to buy?
From here. It's like an Amazon wish list, but from us.
Vouchers for classes. Vouchers for
Yeah.
Vouchers for more classes.
Yeah.
Because I'm spending a fortune at the minute.
Well, no, that's what
But
I
I'm
mean.
not doing-
We do that. We get a lot of people this time of year buying gift vouchers because you can buy materials and classes.
Okay.
So it's for anything in the shop. We've had to split it, so the real life paper vouchers can be for real life classes and real life stock. The online vouchers you can buy are for online classes and online stock. I can't do both.
Oh, so if my sister wants to buy one,
Well, she can email us and we can.
give me a physical one.
Yeah.
Because she also doesn't live anywhere nearby. But she's
No,
the person I'm thinking
it's
of,
because
she wants to get
because
something.
no, that I mean that's fine. I mean I can email her something just so you've got something in that she can print off.
Yeah.
But it's that if she buys an online voucher,
It's for online.
it's for online. I can't.
Yeah.
And I can't because it's an automated thing, so I can't generate codes or anything for the vouchers. It's all done that side, and our codes on here are just to stop it from being photocopied.
Ah.
Rosemary's drawn excellent. So yeah, pen and wash fox. Have you ever water-soluble pen? Have you ever used it before?
No.
No. So basically, it is water-soluble pen. It's black pen, and when you wet it, it runs. And depending on the pen and depending on the amount of ink, it can go more of a purple or it can go a bit of green. It's really quite magical. But the skill is knowing how much to add and when to add it and that kind of thing. The only thing to remember is that it is not light fast. So if you hang it on a wall, it will fade
Okay.
in about a year. It starts getting paler and paler and paler. It changes colour and then it goes paler. I forgot I've got a painting out on the wall on the gallery on the landing, and the light from the window has faded it a little bit. It's an ocean, masts and a ship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the thing to do if you really loved what you did is take a photograph and get a professional print off it, because the print will last
Yeah.
longer. Like if you got Megan next door to photograph it and do prints off it, I think that's the best way. So it is really nice, and you can put ink back on top. The only thing that doesn't work well is if your paper is wet and you add the pen. The wet paper traps the ink, so you can't spread it. So you've either got to you always have to put the ink on when it's dry.
Okay.
So that's the thing to remember. Have you both drawn?
Mm-hmm.
That was very fast.
Oh, I drew ages ago.
Yes.
I don't waste time, Barry. You know this. Sometimes I overtake you.
You do. It's very true. Right. I didn't think I'd have a good voice today, but it was alright. I can still speak. I've got to be, because I'm at Hilliers on Thursday evening. Late night shopping. So we have our pen. They're not very expensive, these. Do you know, actually, the school pens, the handwriting pens, like do you use the Beryl or the WM ones there are as well? They're water soluble. So you can do that with I bet is it blue ink you have? Or black? Oh yeah, the black ones are really nice, the Beryl ones. So any water soluble, and how you can tell is because if it isn't water soluble, it says, and if it says nothing, it is.
Okay.
So like this here says.
Now they've got those ones.
Yeah, so these ones are. Oh come on, don't you? Water and fade proof pigment, so that means it won't run, whereas these ones don't really say anything. Some might say there was a confusing brand that we had.
This is the same as yours, but just different.
Yes, the same brand, Blue Acorn.
Oh, okay.
They've just changed the colour of the handle, the barrel to blue.
Makes sense if it's Blue Acorn.
Well, yeah,
It says
orange.
Blue Acorn, but
It's orange, I know, and the ink's black.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Very confusing.
But these are nice. These actually come. You can buy a box of coloured versions of these, which is quite cool if you want to do fancy things. And
Do you probably have a surplus of stock in the shop of these?
no, I don't. I don't. I mean, I think I've got one somewhere, but I don't know if I kept one aside or if I was good and put it out on the shop floor. I don't know. Jackie would know, and she'll say, I haven't seen it. Because that's how it works. And then I usually text her, and then she'll go, no reply. She won't bother replying, because then the next text will be, I found it. Always the way. Right, so we have our pen. I'm not going to do the eye. Oh, am I going to do a bit of eye? Maybe I will do the eye. So I'll zoom in for the eye. That's going to annoy me, that wire.
You drew different there. I didn't draw the outside.
You are?
I only drew the outside bit.
Of the eye. Well, that's okay. Because we're going to rely on the water. Now, I'm leaning in, Rosemary, so I'm eating the microphone, so I'm apologising if I'm a bit loud. Nice. So I'm just going to do a line and just a slightly dark, almost like eyelashes, just in that top section. You'll see why shortly.
I'm confused myself as which lines I've drawn. Because I kind of drew that, but that's actually part of the skin, so I guess that is just the eye shape.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so that bit is fur,
Yeah.
and that curve is the eye.
It's just
Yes.
this bit here.
Yes. That is it. And what's really fun about Watersoluble Pen is that, like, now I can nip downstairs, make a cup of tea, have a bath. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter because I can come back and add the water at any point. So it's a good thing. Once you know, there are sequences with it, because obviously if you put too much ink down, then it creates a problem.
Were your eyelashes going out?
They're going down into the eye because they're not actual eyelashes. This is just
This is
just shading. Because what I'm going to do is get my littlest brush with a bit of water and wet it and fade it down with even more water into the bottom of the eye. Teeny brush. You might find wetting the eye shape first helpful for the blend. Can you see how I've got that darker line?
You're not touching the pupil.
No, leaving the pupil, because I won't be wetting that. Those kids on the front row were absolutely brilliant yesterday. Apparently they'd been there since 11 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
They were doing what yesterday morning. They were doing one of the they were both in one of the choirs, I think, and one did a solo. And they just decided to stay all day and support all the other acts. And they were singing along, they were dancing, and it was really nice.
Yours seem to fade a lot. Mine's sort of done the same colour all over.
What you can do is, if you go in with this brush,
Yeah.
you only want it subtle. Subtle. Mine looks less subtle because it's on the telly.
Okay.
But you can lift out some more if you wanted to with just a clean damp brush.
Thinking about coffee already.
It's not time, Daniel.
Always time.
You just eat all the crisps, so they dry you out.
I have a student on a Wednesday. As soon as she sits down, she says, "Is it tea time yet?"
No.
No, it is not.
I mean, you'd always make a tea on demand for Kevin. I remember that.
Oh, well, he was American.
I see, so preferential treatment to the Yanks then.
Well, you've got to keep them sweet, haven't you?
No, you don't.
Well, I knew it was short term with him.
Some of my most entertaining moments are winding them up. So.
Oh, we miss Kevin.
Yeah, I do actually.
He still gets in touch, but he's a daddy now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to dry, which won't take very long, because I'm basically just going to colour the pupil in and leave a white spot for the highlight. And I'll also add the lower part of the eye. Oh, that's a good eye, Barry. Thanks.
What else did you add, did you say? Oh, the bottom bit.
The bottom bit. So we'll ignore his nose. So where the white fur is, what we'll do is we'll use the rest of the ink like a palette when we put the other colours on. So like when we do the black backs of the ear, we can lift off that ink and flick in for the fur. So the head on the fur on the head is a little bit trickier.
We need a white gel pen for this.
Well, I don't know, Dan. I don't know. We might be able to do it with just skill.
I felt the annoyance there, Barry.
No annoyance, but I think skill. It's tricky for this bit, to be honest, because we want short fur, but I've got my pen on its side, which gives me a thinner, lighter line. And then I'm following the direction of the fur. You can't always get rid of your pen lines, because Dan, you've done quite a few pen and wash, haven't you, like this?
Not for the heavy-handed people like me.
It is tricky if you're heavy-handed. It is. So my pen's at almost, well, not 45-degree angle to the paper. Something like that. Little short feathery lines. If you're not sure, you can try it in the area of the corner of his eye where it's darker, just to see if you're too heavy-handed or not, because that can be darker. Or inside his left ear. This can be a little bit monotonous, but well worth it if you stick with it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm squinting to look at where the darker parts of the fur on his nose is, and trying to follow the directions of the fur. And it's quite short, so a lot of this fur will remain in place. Even when wetted. I've never cuddled a fox. Have you ever cuddled a fox? Or stroked a fox? I imagine they're quite bristly. Coarse.
Yeah. I want to say I know what they feel like, but I'm not entirely sure why I would think that.
So you may have
Even
cuddled a
stroke
fox.
badger. You'd think I would try, but no.
Oh gosh, no, not the wild ones.
The ones that was in my house, you know.
I know, but
He
he's...
deserves to be stroked, right?
Well, I would think I can, because I've always been obsessed with badgers, I would think that I would feel at one with them and they would know I meant them no harm. And then I'd lose my hand.
I think he thought that, but I was more petrified of him.
Well, they're quite big, aren't they?
Huge. But not that big, because it fitted to the cat trap.
That's true. But they're all bulk, I think. Like, you know, like if you wet a cat, there's nothing to them really, is there, when you bath the cat? They're just really tiny, but they're all quite fluffy.
Just keep your mashed potatoes safe.
Yes. I've got a badger skull. It's not very big. Way smaller than I thought it would be. I haven't gone around killing badgers, by the way. I haven't killed the badger, but I have got a skull.
Yet.
I'd never kill a badger. Not on purpose.
Self-defense, Barry.
I love them. No, I'd be leading a badger army, I would. I love them. I wanted to live underground with them. My whole house is like Mr. Badger's house from Wind in the Willows. Or Tommy Brock, isn't it, from Beatrix Potter?
I'm not that close.
I love his name.
I'm sure he's Tommy Brock. I think I'm not going to do a background in this. I like the dark background, but I think that's going to be too hard.
No, it's not. You're fine.
What, you want to do a background?
Yeah, give it a try.
Well, we'll think about it.
You know what I'm like, Harry. Always contrarian in your class.
Well, I know, but it's not. It is good to be experimental. I mean, that's what I say in my reels. Somebody on TikTok commented today on my reel on ships in harbour are safe, but that's not what they're built for. To like to try and do different things. Well, 90% of people like it played safe on their walls, and it's ironically boats and ships. And I said, but that's not the point of the video. My point of the video is, I'm not saying don't just paint things you like to paint, but if you only ever do that one thing, you'll never learn new techniques, and you'll stagnate. It could be quite easy if you found a market for your, an audience for your work, just to churn out the same stuff. But I can guarantee, if you're creative, you'll start to feel suffocated and fed up doing the same thing over and over again. That's why I like unusual commissions, because they're very different.
No, I have to think of something really harebrained.
No, I'll just sound busy, Daniel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I am this year. I've had to turn commissions down this year, having been knocked out with COVID for 2 weeks. It totally has set me back.
My first ever COVID infection this year. Oof.
Yeah, snap. But I think I must have had the new strain or something, because I was getting additional symptoms, and then I saw a TikTok with a doctor on, and they were saying, oh, well, these are the other symptoms for the new one. And I thought, oh.
Do you know what? I think that's weakened my immune system.
Yeah. Are you taking vitamin C and stuff still?
I'm taking vitamin C is part of the Wellman Max.
Yeah, I take that, but I also take additional D and C to try and...
Well, I take additional zinc and iodine, but that's more for metabolism.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised I don't rattle the amount of supplements I take.
Says me he just knocked back some popcorn, but...
Well, that reminds me more of a badger than a fox.
Do some lighter ones on his nose.
Yeah.
It can be done, because he is...
Doesn't it look like magic?
At the moment, because we've got a dark stripe, but we're gonna move through it, Helen. Don't worry.
It's a new technique anyway, isn't it, for me? So
Exactly, so it's all different, but I think he will look like a fox. Now, you might notice I'm not doing his other eye, and that's because it's a black line, and I'm going to wait for all of the other fur to be in and spreaded. No, spread. No, spreaded.
Yeah, there's no such thing spread it, Barry.
Spreaded.
So I lost 3 kilograms since Friday.
Well, that's really cool. How have you managed that?
Honestly, I think I might have just been carrying water.
Oh, okay.
because From Friday to Friday, I lost 0.4 of a kilogram.
That's a lot to lose in it. See, I'm old-fashioned. I know pounds and ounces. What's kilos?
So
I used to say
so
kilos
2
about £2.
So seven pounds essentially
In a week?
in a weekend.
In a weekend?
Yeah.
See, my weight can fluctuate that much fairly easily. The problem is it always tends to go up more than it comes down by. But I could be half a stone like within a day if I don't know why. It can vary that much though.
No,
You're not doing Slimming World or anything then?
no.
You just...
I'm keeping my calorie count down as close to about 1,500 as I
Oh,
can.
okay.
Today's a little different. I decided, why not? Because
Well, I think everything in moderation, isn't it? Really, I think
Yeah.
you can overkill a lot of stuff.
But at the minute it's now 27 kilograms down since I started properly.
Oh, that's good.
So,
Can you feel? Does it feel different?
that's the reason I actually weighed myself today, because I actually woke up and felt quite lighter on my feet.
Okay.
So
Well, that 3 kilos. That's 3 bags of sugar in it. And if you're carrying that around with you, you'd feel.
Well, I reckon I lost it in the week prior, just
Because you walk everywhere as well, don't you?
I walk to and from work. I then go to the gym and swim for a couple hours.
Yeah, swimming's good, isn't it? I haven't been swimming for a long
I
time.
haven't swam as much as I wanted to this week.
I haven't been swimming since puberty.
Well,
Not very long.
Time.
Not that long ago.
I don't like being wet.
I don't
I
mind,
hate
but
that feeling when you get out of the pool and you're just wet and you need to dry. I hate that feeling so much.
yeah, I don't like that. And I also don't like changing rooms, and I think that's because of PE at school. When we all had the joint changing rooms and we had to shower and the teachers would be standing in the doorway. I just didn't like that kind of pressure.
In high school, you got cubicles. So,
Oh, that's
you
fancy.
shut it down and no one can.
I actually, because in primary school, even though ours was on a council estate, we had a swimming pool in our primary school. And all the other schools used to have to come and visit us. All the posh schools had to come to visit our school to use the swimming pool. And the guy that used to teach the swimming went to my mum when I was about 8 and said that I had Olympic qualities for swimming. I had a lot of power in my chest and arms and shoulders. I've lost a lot of it though. But then I stopped swimming once
You have muscle memory, so
once I became.
once you did it a few times, you actually retain it.
I used to really just love floating.
I like floating. I'm gonna go. That's what I do.
Just float around. I want to be a marshmallow. So you've been on TikTok a long time. You'd know that one, don't you?
That one.
Just wobble around. Just wobble around with joy.
Right.
You need to get on TikTok, Dan.
No, I don't.
I love it.
I'm addicted. Well, I'd say that I'm not on it anywhere near as much as I used to be.
I can be, but because I'm on it for work, then I end up being on it for longer.
Yeah.
I'll post a video on there and then I'll stay for an hour or two. But what I found is, the phrase there's doom scrolling.
Yeah.
There's also that they've come up with an alternative called hope questing, where you're not doing it for switching off. You're just looking for glimmers of things that you like, which I think is better. Hope questing. You're like mining for joyous things on there.
That's the same thing though. Like you're literally looking for dopamine.
Yes.
So it's like saying you're neurodivergent and you're neurospicy. It's the same thing ultimately.
Of course, but it sounds better.
I went to the doctors today. They're referring me.
Are they?
Yeah.
Liz has diagnosed me with all sorts of things in class.
They did the sort of. I mean, I've done it already, but yeah, she went through the tips. Yeah, we can refer you. Yeah, she ticked all those boxes. We'll refer you.
See, I was looking at.
But it's autism and ADHD. You see, I'm sure I've got absolute traits of both. I'm somewhere weirdly in the middle.
I can see a lot when I've seen videos with people saying what they've got, but then I don't know if what I've got is like the generic side of things. But then I saw something about social situations, and it's like, would you say, I've always said I'm antisocial because I don't like a lot of big gatherings or big crowds or it's overstimulated.
That was my limit on Sunday. When the other band came in, it was like different crowd, and
no, it's an oppressive
as I was
crowd.
leaving, I was like, I need to get out quickly.
Yeah, I really struggle with
Whereas there was nice space
too much.
Where we arrived, it was good.
I like to be sociable to a degree, but I am social. I'm not antisocial, otherwise I couldn't teach. But small groups, or big groups, as long as I'm away from them. So like I could do what I was doing last night, yesterday, because I was on the stage away, so I could see all of the crowds, and that didn't bother me. But if I was in the middle, I would have felt, and just the noise. I was controlling the noise, so that's okay. But no,
and again, listening to you was absolutely fine. But as soon as the band came on, it's like, this is too loud. This is too much.
Yeah.
I haven't got any headphones with me. I need to go now.
Well, it's funny because when they were setting up, because they set up the same time as me, because of obviously having to go on straight after the switch on. They were there. There's like 5 of them carrying this up, that up, this, that, the other, and then they were like, "Oh, what's yours?" And I just bought my table with my suitcase up, and then my stand for my my music, and I said I just need to be Bluetoothed to your system. Yeah, okay. And my microphone's wireless. Oh, stick it in there. He said, "That's you set up then," and he was like, "Well, that was easy." And I thought, well, yes, I'm very self-contained. I bought all my equipment though in the car because I didn't want a repeat of what happened at the beacon lighting ceremony, where they really different organisers, but they really mucked up. It was embarrassing. I'm just going to do a little bit more on the neck. I'm not going to... Oh, do you know what? I am going to do slightly darker strokes.
Are you doing the ears yet? Because I can't start doing one of the ears and I see you haven't touched them yet.
I can. No.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. But I try to limit what I put on only for the fact that when you add the water, it's a bit trickier.
Should I stop doing that?
So, what bit of the ears have you done? It's okay to do the lighter fur,
Oh, no, I'm at the darker bits.
the black fur, not the inside.
Not the inside.
Yeah, don't do the inside. You can do the outside
Yeah, the outsides I've done.
and the white bits, because we'll put the black bits on later inside.
I'm still waiting for a referral for my ADHD thing as well.
And have you? When did you put yours in?
Good question.
Apparently it's about a 3-year wait.
So there was a cock up with mine where I handed mine in late, but the text said if you could still hand it in, we'll still refer you. A year later, I call up to chase up. Oh, we haven't done it.
Oh no.
So last year.
Was it via a GP?
Pardon?
Was it via a GP?
Yeah, by a GP. But no, I think what happened is the secretary scanned it on and didn't forward it on. But
Yeah, it's been a really long form that I've put for them.
and then and they kept sending my form back to me as well, because apparently there were bits I didn't fill in when I'm certain I filled them in.
Yeah, but that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point of it.
Well, yeah.
Easy. One of the questions, or several of the questions are, do you sometimes make mistakes? Like when you're trying to concentrate on something? Yeah. And it's like ridiculously long form for somebody with ADHD to fill in.
Yes, it should be done in. You should have like a little reward for each page.
Well, Amy's on it now because I took it round and she made me start filling it in already. And she's like, I'm going to keep bugging you, you know that. And that's what I need. I need somebody to bug me about it.
I think since I got it all sorted out now, I think it's been, I want to say 9 months to a year.
Okay.
And I did get a letter from them to say that they do have it and apologising for the delay and what I can do in the meantime, yada yada.
It's the
What would you suggest we do
unfinished.
in the meantime?
It's the unfinished things for me. You know, I'll do something and I'll take something to the living room, and then I'll see something that I should have done yesterday that I started doing, and then I'll go, oh, I'll put that down. I'll get this finished while I'm in here. Then I'll start that, and then I'll think, oh, that reminds me, and then I'll be upstairs in the bedroom, and then I'll be doing that, and then that'll remind me of something else, and then I'll go down, and then I'll forgotten that pile that was in the living room, and
For my appointment, I went home to pick up my journal because I have made lots of notes in my journal that I needed to tell the doctor. I literally popped home to get to my journal, and I still walked out the door without it.
I was the same with
I
milk.
did go back for it. I managed to remember before I'd left the house. Like, left
It's
the drive.
ridiculous. But I'm at the point where I don't know if that's normal or not normal.
Has it always been that way?
I don't know. My nickname at home, my mum used to call me Half a Job Harry,
Mum still does call me that.
because I never finish anything.
I've got a really bad habit. I'm doing quite well with this, to be fair. The art stuff.
Yeah,
tend
but
to
I think,
start a project and I just keep, right, I've got all the stuff to do it, and then go, oh, I'll do it.
and my biggest issue is if I've got something to do, I won't do it until the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
And I never used to be like that though. As a kid, I was like with homework, I'd get it done the minute I had it.
Nope, never.
But as I'm become an adult, any deadlines, the night before.
I'm much better at last minute, I think.
I am, to be honest, and it's even stupid things like packing my stuff for a gig. I will not pack it because I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
So if I pack it the day before and be organised, the minute I have to go, I will unpack it and repack it, and then I'll check it in the car twice, because I don't trust the self that past me did it properly.
I started journaling because of Amy.
Yes, I know she's a big journaler, isn't she?
One of the things I did this year was I wrote myself a packing list for when I go on holiday. And it's things like, it's got like knickers times day plus 2. So that this list should work wherever I'm going.
Yes,
the right quantities.
That's clever.
Jumper times days divided by 2. Because
I get that.
So
Yeah.
I've done everything a bit like that. And it's kind of worked. And I've used it 3
Got to work then, hasn't it?
days successfully. I had to add an extra camping section for if I'm camping, because that's kind of...
I don't. Oh, excuse me. How's it going, Rosemary? I'm a bit fast at this, I know, so don't worry if you're not where I am. So I'm not doing the inside of his ear holes. I've done the tops of his... Yet.
I like that word. There's no word
Yet.
in it. Well, you've done some of the inside of his ears.
Well, I've done the lighter bits, not the darker bits.
Okay.
I've left a lot of the top of his nose pale, because the ink really does go for it.
Sorry, the top of his what?
This top of his nose. Oh, Daniel.
Hopefully it's something serious, so I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
No, but it's not something serious, because if you give me,
don't
if
want it.
you give it me, I know where you live. Don't forget, I will track you down.
Well, you've had it, so that's technically you have some immunity, I think, with that.
I will have some. I will have, and I think because I only had it a month ago.
I'm convinced my jabs have done me a favour this time, because I've been so close to so many people with it and I've not got it.
But you know, I've been close to people that have had it in the last 3 years, and I avoided it. But I think I was really run down this particular time because we had the vandalism in the windows, we had the flooding, and I was so stressed with all of that, and that's when it hit me. Because I mean, previously to that, Liz contracted COVID during the class.
Oh, if she caught it.
No, but she,
coughing.
she was fine, and then halfway through she started coughing.
First time I had it, I literally started coughing in a petrol station, and everybody sort of looked at me, and I'm like, and I said, it's fine, I'm not ill, I just cough. It was like,
Yes.
oh no, that was my start.
That's what Liz was. Everyone in the class was like, oh, and she was like, it's just a cold or a bit of hay fever, it's fine. And then she was like, I feel a bit weird. And then so she left at 4 o'clock. By 6:30, oh, I got COVID.
That was the start of our rehearsal thing.
It was, yeah.
I wasn't at the rehearsal where she had it.
So is your next one Calamity Jane? No, that's not you.
That's
Lyndon. That's what?
That's
February Operatic Society.
No, I was in the middle of a Dungeons and Dragons game when I did one.
Oh, were you? I was walking. I was actually sitting here on the Thursday, and I text Jackie to say, "Oh, I'm a little bit sniffly, like I still am. I'm a bit sniffly. That I think it must be an allergy or something, because it's weird. I didn't feel poorly. I recorded the reel of me standing in the park saying how to deal with negative comments.
Oh yeah.
And then I went home, and then when I went to bed, that's when I was having awful night sweats, really bad nightmares. Woke up with a splitting headache. Tested within a second of the drop hitting the litmus paper. It was thick black line.
You must have had well and truly had it.
And I still don't know.
Mine drifted in and drifted out again.
I have no idea where I got it from. I don't know anybody that's had it. But it could have been, obviously, because this building's used by that many people, if somebody in the cafe or or they coughed in the bathroom and I followed them in, it could have been something. Because Jackie never got it. Try leaning on your other wrist, Rosemary. That might help take the pressure off to give you lighter strokes.
Mile stick.
Or a mile stick, but if you haven't got a mile stick, your wrist will do.
Mile stick. Barry's got one. I made my own based on that.
So what you do with that goes off your paper, off the edge there, and then you put your hand on like that, and then you can lean on it. I have to show you from here because you can't see from there. So let's use your picture. So that goes like that, that goes like that. You lean on it, well it should be that way because I'm right-handed, and it means your hand isn't rubbing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can move it up, down.
It's quite good if you're using like pastels or something, Alex.
You know what? We actually don't use it in pastels.
Do you not? Actually, that's where I've always ended up smudges.
Yeah, it's true though. We should use it in pastels. Oh yes, I can those fireworks were like. Anne and Chris were in the audience with their dog Harry, and they bring him every year to the Christmas light switch on. But the fireworks were so like death charges this year that even spooked Harry, and he lives in the countryside where there's gunshots all the time, and he is not spooked by most things.
I
But
jumped when it happened because
They were very loud.
it didn't sound like a firework. It actually sounded like an actual explosion.
yeah, they were the loudest.
People in Banbury were all like, "Well, it sounds like gunfire." And
Yeah, that's the loudest I've known them. And the annoyance is that the wind normally blows them over so people can see them, and you couldn't really see much of them.
It was quite misty.
Yeah, I was driving home in the fog last night. It was awful. Right. Your house shook and explosion. Yes. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, being where we were, I obviously I knew that they were going to happen at that time because I was just off the stage. But they were really loud, and I'm wondering if really they should start investing in silent ones now. Because you only go for the pretty, you don't go for the sound. I mean, to be fair, if they wanted the sound, wouldn't it be better to have silent fireworks and the DJ plays the sounds of fireworks? Because at least you can get the sound.
See, it's what we did at the play. We had just playing the sounds of fireworks.
Because then you can turn it down and you can still go ooh and ah, can't you?
But then you have to pay an extra DJ. You got to pay for the electrical.
Well, we've got the sound system on the stage, so all you'd have to do is, I mean, I can play fireworks off my phone. Do you know what I mean? Synced into it. That there is no need for them to sound so loud. I mean, I don't like the sound. I prefer the visuals of fireworks. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people say how loud they were, and for Chris to say his dog got spooked, who doesn't normally get spooked. But I suppose quiet ones are more expensive, aren't they? Definitely wouldn't have the budget for drones, although they don't pay any of us musicians, so
Are you a voluntary?
for that event. But I volunteer for that event because of the amount of people.
Yeah.
You know, I might get some bookings from it. You know, I don't know, the Banbury Guardian article said thousands were there. I don't know how many, because I messaged. The trouble is, because most of my family are dead, or not talking to me. I wanted to, when I found the photograph that the town council took of me on the stage, I wanted to send it to people, say, look at what I've done. So I sent it to my sister. I sent it to my ex-wife because I just had nobody else to send it to, and my aunt.
Are you still on good terms?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
She actually replied quite quickly as well. And my aunt was like, is that the biggest crowd you've played to? Because I sent her a photo of the crowd from my view off the stage afterwards, and I went, well, I don't think so, because at the lighting ceremony there were 3,000 at the park, which I sang to 3,000 people. I don't know if that many people were in the beacon light for the Jubilee.
Oh, yeah.
For the Jubilee, I was hired to sing songs up until 1953 because it's for the Jubilee, which I did. But the sound, It was awful. I was told, bring your usual stuff. Normally, like at the mill or whatever, I'm told, email us your backing tracks, call in at this time for a sound check, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Nothing. Bring your usual stuff. So I rocked up and it was a horse box trailer with the sound system, and I said, I'm your singer. Right, we haven't had anything. I said, well, I wasn't told to give you any. I didn't even know who was doing the sound. Well, have you got any way of linking to our system? Well, thankfully I'd bought everything, and I said, I've got a few leads. Oh, that'll have to do because we haven't got anything. I was no stage. I was stuck to the side of a horse box. The lead that I had wasn't ideal for what they wanted, and it only made 1.5 of their speakers work.
Yeah.
So half of the people couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear the backing tracks. Every time I moved closer, I got feedback. It was, and everyone was saying, "Why aren't you on a stage? You should be on a stage." I was the only performer that whole evening, and I was just on a bit of grass by a horse box. You know, the bit before the bagpipes and the national anthem. They could have built me just a little thing out of a pallet, or you know, got me on something so people could see me. So I was just standing there, not being able to hear properly. Nobody that side of me could.
Thing as well?
No, I got paid. I didn't get paid much for that.
No.
But because that was through the bid, and I thought, I'm not volunteering for the bid. I know they've got the money, they can pay me.
Yeah.
But with the town council, I know how much they spent on the stage. I mean, that staging's got to be a lot of money, and it's wheels within wheels. I think they're going to book me again for another event that is a paid event.
Yeah.
And with those amount of it, there was a video, wherever my phone is, and then I'll put the kettle on. What was that? They have to add extra to make them loud. Oh, okay. The chemicals that make the colours do not explode with that much noise. Well, I can't remember them being that loud when I was a kid, and they used to be pretty. Somebody on Banbury Info, not Shire, posted a really cool overview of the crowd, but I bet I won't see it now.
I saw photos.
Oh yeah, this was like footage from the balcony of the town hall going over the crowd.
Nice.
It was after the lights were switched on.
So you went on.
No, because I'd have stolen it if I was. Oh, JJ photography. I've got to change my hand actions.
Did you send a new message?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I look like I'm doing a Tommy Cooper a lot of the time. Look. Song. Jar song. Nick that one. I wish people would watermark them because I nick them all and then I don't know who to credit.
Well, I've got more. I just sent. I think what was I sending you? I think I sent you a photo.
You sent me a photo and oh, I need to quickly find this and then I'll put the kettle on.
I have all the videos, but I'm not sure how much of it is you and how much of it is us dancing and stuff. It's your voice in the background.
Because the trouble is, I don't get, because I go to events on my own. I get only selfies unless it's a professional event where there's but I don't get any video footage or anything. It's very frustrating to share. Who was it? Let me see.
So you're doing Hilliard again?
Yeah, this Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that. So this is from the town hall. Going towards the stage. Just before the fireworks. Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
my goodness.
in the photo of Banburyshire Info posted... Oh, there's the lights going on. Posted the a video, there's the fireworks, from down here looking, and you can see a drone floating across the sky in front of the fireworks. But I mean, that's a lot of people, isn't it?
There's a lot of people. And at that point in time,
Yes, because it's just switched on. Yeah, Jeep haven't come on,
Yeah.
so I'll be down there somewhere. But that is a lot of people. Because somebody said, "Oh, it was very disappointing. There weren't many people there." And I thought you can't actually get many more people in.
The bit disappointing to me was having all the rides near you, because as we walked through the market square, we could hear you, and it sounded lovely.
Yes.
And then, as we came into the area, like past the town hall, all we could hear was the really loud music from all the rides.
Yeah.
Which drowned you out.
It's a bit problematic because the Victorian market is a separate event, and they're not necessarily. There's not much cohesion.
But I think previously they had but they're not Victorian rides.
No.
What are the rides got to do with Victorian market?
Well, exactly.
I thought they were a separate entity, so I think normally they'd be further down in the same.
Yeah,
by the
and
town
you
hall.
see, in the olden days when the light switch on was just a craft market, the fair was in Marketplace, and the market was in Marketplace, and then the light switch on was further down. Yeah, we used to do it, but now the Victorian market's on.
Yeah.
It's wiped out anything local, which is a shame. But it was a really nice time. But the bands were loud. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll middle brush, and I'm going to start on the lighter end of his nose with a bit of water, and just shade. And ignore his ears for now, and ignore the darker parts. Ignore anywhere that's too dark just yet. So like around his eyes, I'm going to leave for now. Because can you see how even that amount of ink spreads? And the only reason why I'm saying leave it is because the darker ink just spreads, and you end up losing so much detail. But this is kind of a timeless way of working. It used to be called pen and ink because you'd use a dip pen and ink, and depending on the ink you'd either have water soluble ink or permanent. I'm still doing it in strokes because then if I miss a bit it doesn't matter. And then as I get a bit closer, I can go into the darker bits. But by doing it in washy strokes, you can get that idea of I think you're so good, Helen, not having your phone and not being worried about it till tomorrow. I don't know what I'd do.
The only problem at the moment is I don't have my watch on, which means I haven't got the time either. That's the only thing. I didn't know what time it was when I got here, because I was like, I'm late, I'm on time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on time-wise. But actually, I think the worst thing is other people are going to go, why is she not messaging me?
I'd love it.
Why is she ignoring me?
I really considered buying one of those £80 Nokias.
Oh, what, the old style?
Yeah, because they're still internet now. There's a new version, but I'm having it as a burner phone, you know. So only those that have got my mobile number can contact me when I'm out. But now I'm doing these reels and everything, I literally need my phone all the flipping time. I hate being so tied to it. And I know people go, oh, well, you know, it's the same as the kids. They're absolutely glued to their phones. I know if phones were around when I was a kid, I'd be absolutely addicted. Because of, like you were saying, Dan, it's that dopamine hit, isn't it? It's and everything is geared.
I'm going to struggle tonight because I won't have got my I listen to audiobooks, but actually my Alexa can do it. My Alexa can wake me up, and my Alexa can do the stories. So
Yes.
I don't really need it, but
But now you know you can't use it. Will you want to use it?
oh, I'll probably go. Where's my phone? Like earlier on, you said to me, I'm like, oh, I'll show you that video. I can't.
Yeah.
I've got the phone on.
Yeah. So it's subtle. He's more grey in the photo, but it looks a bit green on the telly. Where you've got a concentration of ink, it's more purple, and where it's more watery, it's more green. Daniel, that's a lovely fox.
So you have done right round his eyes and everything
I have now. Once you've done the lighter area, you can go in for the dark because you'll see how much that spreads. Oh, it's cold out here.
And that's the other thing, I can't do my stages. I tended to do stages with things. So I've done this bit of the painting and that bit of the painting.
It's cold outside, no kind of atmosphere.
So yeah, it's Christmas mode then.
More or
Baby,
less.
it's cold outside.
I'm in Red Dwarf mode.
Let me fly far away from here.
Fun, fun, fun. What's the one? The goldfish bowls nibbling at my toes was another line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I loved Red Dwarf so much.
I saw a couple of the cast at Comic-Con.
Ah, yeah, you do Comic Cons, don't Dan? You do Comic Cons,
Not
don't
as
you?
much since the pandemic. In fact, I've not been to one since.
See, this is why I'm amazed you two don't know each other because you know.
No, I went to MegaCon in Birmingham in March.
No, I go south. I go London.
Ah, okay.
Do you know Arcane? Arcane even. I played Jinx from Arcane.
Oh right, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of my
So League of Legends.
characters. Yeah.
Dante Devil May Cry.
Because Dan's very you do D&D and stuff, don't you? I don't do anything like that.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I
have
should.
lots of friends that do D&D, but I've never really kind of got it.
I'm happy with my gnomes.
Well, you can be a gnome. That's a playable race.
I just did the
I
eye.
do them with like dwarfs and stuff.
Yeah. So you've got halflings and gnomes and.
A changeling. I think maybe I'm a changeling.
Changeling. There is something.
I think I am one.
No.
I'm
There
just
is
putting a
something.
bit of pen back in as it's drying for some slightly darker fur again. Because we've got a bit more to. Obviously, he's only half ahead. I think this would look quite good as a square image, to be honest.
Are you going to do further down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because like mine just goes further down than yours does.
Yeah, mine does go all the way down to the bottom,
Okay.
but
Of course you're going to do them, haven't you?
we're going to use the ear black to do that stuff. So we're going to use it a bit like watercolours. Have you got your tea slave?
No, you're not doing anything. Oh, you talked to Rosemary.
Yeah. Rosemary, when she did D&D, she was a human changeling to a tiger. Ooh,
Oh, it's a druid.
how exciting. My nephew does it. You remind me a lot of my nephew, Daniel.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, he's a massive gamer and D&Der and all of that. Almost as old as you. Almost as old as you. Not that you're ancient.
No, I keep being told people think I'm in my 20s. So.
Well, that's really old, Helen. You said that. Maybe
I
that's
have no
why.
idea how old you are either, but
That-
I'm no good at aging anyone.
No, that's why maybe I should do something like that, because if everybody that does it seems to look younger,
That's it.
I've always looked 40,
No, because
even when I was 10.
I've still had people going 20, late 20s, early 30s, and I'm just like,
Jackie
I'm happy with that.
used to be asked for ID all the time when we were out.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
I never got asked for ID, even when I was illegal, and I shouldn't have been in there. Never.
I've only ever been asked for ID once, and that was on my 19th birthday.
Really?
Weird, isn't it?
No,
But I was never ID'd before that,
Yeah.
even when I was 12.
I got ID'd not long ago for buying a Stanley knife in whip.
Really? Oh, that's good.
And she said, it's because I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm like, do normal people not wear t-shirts? Apparently, she thought I was like a set-up sting thing, so anyway, she was convinced I was under 25, or no, she thought I was under 18, and then the bloke in the queue goes, oh, I thought she'd be a bit older, maybe like 22. Just laughing away to myself.
My colleague thought I was 24 the other day.
Oh wow.
Had to break the news for him 35.
One of the other vintage singers, they saw a post of mine the other week that was saying, 20 years ago I did this in my 20s, and she said, I'm really confused by this. How can you be in your 20s 20 years ago? I thought you were my age. And I said, well, how old are you? She said, I'm 29 and I'll be 30. And I went, thanks. Thanks ever so much. No. So, Daniel, I know what you're drinking. Helen.
Can I have a glass of water as well?
You've got a jar there.
Yeah, I can't drink that.
Helen, what would you like? Tea or
can I
coffee?
have a coffee, please?
Yes.
White coffee, no sugar, thanks.
Opposite drinks.
Not
That's
tea
cool.
with sugar.
He's black with 2 sweeteners. You're white with nothing.
See, for years I thought I needed sugar, and then I realised I just needed more milk.
I don't with tea. I don't have anything, but with coffee I do like something. Just it's a bit bitter. Like me.
But yeah, I remember I went to America, and obviously there you have to be 21 to buy things. And the friends I was with were quite a bit younger than me, and so she asked for an ID. I just assumed she was just asking them for theirs. She goes, and yours? And then she couldn't read it because of course it's like the 27th and the 3rd, and she read it as the 3rd and the 27th. I got really confused. I had to explain to her how things work. It's very clever, this. I wasn't even sure what it was supposed to look like, but I'm quite liking it.
Okay.
Has he done the ears yet?
He's done the inner. The little
Yeah,
bit.
he's not done the outside
No, he's not done the
with
outside.
ink. No. He added more ink in, and I've forgotten what he did with the more ink as it dried.
I wasn't paying attention.
No,
Maybe I was trying to.
It wasn't just fingers.
No, I tend to fill in the gaps. It's very a lot.
Yeah.
That's sometimes overtaken because of that.
Yeah, this is the point I really want a camera because I want to take a photograph of it at this stage.
I normally bring a stand and record the whole thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
We should do that.
Really. Yeah, but like
That'd be great,
I
actually.
lost my original one, which I built from scratch. Like I had to find the parts and make sure they all fit and all that lot. Now they suck on the sets, which is frustrating.
So what do you do with them for videos?
So I've only got, I don't tell Barry this, but he's already here. I do have a TikTok and I only have 2 videos.
I see, is on TikTok.
I have 2 videos and that's about it. I don't really scroll on it because I do scroll enough on Facebook. So
See, I can't stand Facebook.
You get lost on some of the reels, but they're stupid and they annoy me because it tends to be people going, oh, they've no idea that their partner's back from wherever, and it's such a fake setup, and and this person's cheated on them, and it's such a fake setup, and
yeah, I
everything's
can't
fake
stand shit
setup.
like that. It's stupid.
No.
Whereas I've been on TikTok since just before the internet, but I've made loads of friends on there. And I was out on last Saturday. I went out with a load of them.
And ginger. Oh, I forgot you must have water.
How could you? I'm trying to doctor it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got to bring my stuff. I get stuck up at home to bring in, and I keep forgetting to bring it in. It's closer now. It's actually by my bag.
You said you added some extra ink in while it was drying, but I don't know what you did.
Just in the darker fur, just around his eye, and a few bits on his head. Just a few little random flicks. Daniel's water. I'm just going to put my
Flicks.
biscuit there
Oh,
with the pen.
is that when it's actually wet though?
Well, it's wet or damp, doesn't matter because we're not going to blend that out. So we've not got a massive pitcher of fluids today,
You
Dan.
know what? I was in such a rush this morning, I forgot about it. Otherwise, I would have done.
That
But
sounded
also,
like a sip for you, that. Well, I'm not going back.
cheers.
I'm not going back. I'm just going to dunk a biscuit, so I'll be quiet.
So I just forgot everything, and I got halfway to work where suddenly the blood kicked in and I started waking up because it was literally one of those mornings like, oh shit, that's the time, clothes on, outhouse, and I was wondering why my bag wasn't so heavy. And yeah, I forgot my 4-litre bottle of water.
It's really cold out there. We're not used to it. We've been mild for ages. Right. What biscuit have you had, Rosemary? We gained 1,000 followers on Instagram in a week this
Wow.
week.
How's your YouTube? Are you still going down?
Yeah,
It's just weird.
I think they must have changed
The only thing
their
it,
audit.
the only thing it could be as well, I don't think, no, because it's actual views, isn't it?
Mm.
It's going down. So that doesn't even work.
The algorithm.
No, my total views has gone down.
Because I know my TikTok followers dropped quite a lot when they managed to do a massive get rid of fake accounts.
Yes,
So I had loads of fake accounts following me.
and me.
Not my choice, but just did it.
No, that it's we were on 3,725 viewing hours, yeah, and then over the course of a week it went down to 3,650 viewing hours for the year. Well, I think no. Apparently, YouTube do an audit every so often, and if the same ISP watches the same video, they don't count the views, which I think is naughty. Because yes, I understand in certain things. However, in art subjects, you will tend to want to watch the same thing a couple of times to learn it.
Yeah.
Surely. Right, I was going to sip my coffee, but I've just remembered it's boiling water, and it will be hot.
Has it got milk in it or not?
No, mine isn't. Mine is nude.
Mine's just perfect.
Mine's too hot.
Tea smells like even hotter.
Yes. Jackie got me this. In case of emergency, ask Barry. # source of all wisdom. Clearly, she doesn't mean that. It was a sarcastic gift. She really doesn't mean that.
See, I wouldn't want to hold that because it's metal.
I was drinking out of a camp mug yesterday because it's vintage.
Yeah. It's one of my things on my list of things that I told the doctor about today. I hate touching metal.
Oh, wood. I can't. You know the wooden spoons that you have with chips and ice cream?
Yeah.
I used to have a.
Amy's usually got a plastic one on it.
I used to have a Spider-Man T-shirt that I can feel it now. I couldn't wear it. There was just something on the fabric, and I couldn't.
You're definitely neurodivergent as well, aren't you?
And my mom had a dinner service, and when I used to visit her, there was one plate that I couldn't eat off because it was scratchy. I didn't like the texture of the plate. All the other plates in the set, it was fine, but there was this one, and I say, "Mum, you've given me the scratchy plate. I can't eat off the scratchy plate." And she was like, "Barry, you're 34. It's a plate. It doesn't matter."
If somebody gives me like money to hold, I can't hold it. If I haven't got a pocket, I literally will tuck like if I've got.
Oh, really?
I will tuck my skirt into my knickers to make a pocket so that I don't have to hold it.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean I'll hold it for the seconds I'm passing it over, but I can't hold it in my hand. It gets hot and it smells. I don't like the smell of it.
We'll have a try now with white fur. So we're actually not painting the white fur. We're painting the shadows cast by the white fur. And what we're going to do with a wet brush,
Which brush?
a middle or small, depends on your control. I'm going to go into a little bit of the black ear tip and paint a few furry bits.
Ooh.
It's a full moon tonight as well, by the way.
So you're pinching the paint, you're pinching the ink from the
Ear.
top of the ear. This is confusing.
So it's using it like a palette.
Yeah, it is.
Because you want to leave as much white as possible.
This is oh, you Taylor. So confused. You said we were painting white, it's definitely not white.
No, but we're going to leave a lot of it white. Yeah, it's the shadows of the white.
See, I've got my line for my fox being way over, but that's because it's got a lot of fur.
Yeah,
Way over.
so, yeah, my line for the fox is over here.
Yeah.
But we'll do a bit of background for that.
Okay, so we're ignoring the fact
Ignore
that
that bit for a minute.
another line for
Yeah,
the actual-
we'll do some other stuff in a minute. All is okay.
That wasn't much control there.
So I'm just doing very loose, random strokes. Oh, you know, yesterday, because I couldn't leave because I was blocked in, I had to wander around, and I was still in my hat and cape because I was frozen and I couldn't get anywhere near the car and stuff. So, as I was wandering around, I'd got families stopping me for photographs, which was just like,
You were Father Christmas?
well, or either that or they watched me perform. I don't really know. But I just said yes anyway, because, you know, it'd be rude to say no. And if it was for my singing, I thought if I say no, then they might not book me.
Fair.
So I'll just pose. And then there was this one, and they said, are you okay for photographs? And I said, what do you mean? Do you want me to take it? No, we want a photograph of you. I said, yeah, that's fine. And they said, will you hold this doll? And it was a boy band doll. And they said, and I said, can you tell me why I'm holding this doll? Whilst holding the doll. And they were like, oh yes, it's my sister's doll. And we've taken it out for the evening.
Nice.
And we're having lots of people just
Yeah,
hold it.
that's
And I went, but your sister knows it's out. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, oh, whatever.
It's like that one Comic-Con where I took a cardboard cutout of my cousin.
Oh, really?
nice.
He couldn't make it, and then started posting like really sad memes that he couldn't join us, and I was like,
There
Oh.
was some girl who went to a prom and she took a cardboard cutout of Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito,
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And he had a
And then
cartoon
he's
cut
got
out.
one-
Yeah.
He's got a cutout of her.
Yeah. I love Danny DeVito.
It was very funny.
So I'm probably not going to do a lot more. Let me zoom out a fraction, because I don't want it to change too much in the tone of the colour. Oh, Rosemary can't hold oranges. She eats them with a knife and fork, but she can hold lemons and limes.
How? Because they would, I think, feel the same.
Yeah, do they feel different, Rosemary? Well, they must do, mustn't they? Because otherwise you'd be able to hold them. Aren't we all weird? We're all little weirdos.
Yeah, basically. Do you have anything weird you don't like touching?
no.
People.
It depends on the people.
I'm not a big hugger.
But no,
See-
I'm food avoidant, but I wouldn't say.
It's interesting because actually I'm quite tactile and I like a good hug.
I am really fussy. When if
But I always ask people, I won't ever, like, I know with Amy, she has days, today it's like, are you in a huggy mood? No. That's fine. See you later then. Bye.
I have to really know someone to hug them a lot. My mom, I was very huggy with my mom. Not with my dad. Not with my brother. Me and my brother and sister never hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do feel. Yeah, they feel very the same. She says, and she has no idea why she can do the one or the other. My brother, it's cotton wool.
A lot
He
of people
can't
cotton
touch cotton
wool.
wool.
I don't mind cotton wool too much.
And I was really nasty as a child because he smoked roll-ups, and I replaced all of his roll-ups with cotton wool interiors. I didn't like him.
I wouldn't say you still don't much, do you? No.
I'm not weird with touches or anything. Like I said, I'm quite food avoidant, but
I am as well, to be fair. Well, actually, I'm nowhere near. I won't eat fruit. Is my issue. I can hold an orange, but I won't eat one.
I can hold. I won't eat one either.
Oh, I love them.
I think fruit-wise, I think the only fruits I'll have is strawberries, blueberries, and kiwi.
If I'm gonna eat something,
What about if they're in a fruit drink
I can,
or a
I
yogurt?
can drink the drink, yeah. But
I won't have a smoothie because they've got bananas in, and I've got a real aversion to bananas.
I don't like smoothies that aren't smooth. If they're like lumpy, I struggle with lumpy. Same with jam. With jam, I don't like bits in my jam, like actual bits of fruit. I know it's made from fruit, but I like all of them taken out, and I like nude jam.
I'm more of a grain or anything with a pulse either.
Yeah, I'm not. Things like hummus, I hate anything chickpeas.
Claggy. Oh no.
Now we're gonna have to fall out here. Hummus.
What, you like hummus?
Hummus is life.
No, chickpea flavour. It tastes dry. It looks wet. It tastes
Claggy.
dry. I can't deal with it.
Claggy. I can't do with
I
claggy.
struggled with beans for years because of that whole. It tastes dry, but it's wet. I don't get it. I've passed it now. I can cope with the beans.
I can't be doing. No, hummus is just no. Well, I've just realised how I've spelt head. Must have been my keyboard sticking. I missed the A out of Fox's head. Barry, that is called jelly. It is called jelly. I would. Oh, jelly. I don't have jelly anymore.
Why not? I like jelly.
I don't mind. Sometimes if I'm feeling flush, I'll buy little jelly cartons. You know, like the Robinson's jelly pots. But I used to love making jelly
I made a jelly not long ago.
with the jelly cubes when I was a kid. Right, so we're motoring along with him. We've got a good half an hour. This is our first class. Now, don't get offended, Rosemary. I'm talking about real life students. This is my first class ever where I've had no retired people in it.
Wow.
In terms of age group. Don't we all, Daniel? And we've all got a very long time, or maybe never.
Emotionally, I'm retired.
I think we won't get a retirement by the time we get there.
Keeps changing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's why we need to bomb Parliament.
Yeah, somebody tried that once.
Yeah.
But they keep celebrating him.
Well, this. Do you know? I saw a thing about this. Are we celebrating him or celebrating that he didn't do it?
I think the idea is to celebrating it, he didn't do it. However, it's.
Well, in the manner that we celebrate it, though, it's like, blow it up, you know. So.
But because we don't burn guys anymore, do we?
Used to still, didn't we? I guess.
Did we?
We
We
used
used to
to.
go around collecting penny for the guy.
Yeah. You'd make a rubbish guy out of old clothes and newspapers, and then you'd wheel him around.
See, now they just go, oh, we're having a scarecrow competition in the village. Everybody makes scarecrows, we don't burn them then.
Everything's gone to Waitrose.
Yeah.
I don't like the word woke because it's misused, so I say Waitrose. Too middle class for me.
Is that what woke means? I've no idea
No.
what woke means. I've
Woke.
read it wrong.
Woke means being aware of social injustices and wanting to drive changes so they don't happen. But the Daily Mail's version of woke is anything that they don't agree with. So when you see a lot of old boomers talking about woke, they just mean things they don't understand and things they don't like, not actual woke. Because I'm a happy little woke snowflake, I am. I love it. I like being woke. Because I like annoying people as well, so it's like a double folded thing being woke.
I choose my own inner peace. I'll just, do my own thing and cool. If 2 + 2 = 5, that's all good.
But that's it. I think sometimes you've just got to let people live their own lives, haven't you? Because there's a lot of people getting offended over other people without, other people's behalves, without checking that those other people are offended.
And 9 times out of 10, they're bloody not.
No, they're not. They're not. I had somebody on Facebook for Kiss a Ginger Day in January.
How'd that go, by the way?
Oh, badly. But somebody commented because I mentioned it on Facebook. No, well, on Kiss a Ginger Day, I don't mind. If there's a day. And somebody with black hair was like, this is disgusting. I'm so offended for you. A Kiss a Ginger Day. Why are you repulsive the rest of the year? And I went, look, love. If there's a day where I'm getting kisses, I'll celebrate it. Thanks. And it was actually made in response to Kick a Ginger Day. Oh, Rosemary's telling me off because I'm being ageist. I mean it in an affectionate way. You're not, I don't think you're a boomer, Rosemary. You're not a boomer.
I'm a doomer. Of the doom
Are you a
generation.
boomer? I get. You see, I'm Gen X, but I think I'm an Xennial, really.
What was the year you were born in?
78, because
No, you're Gen X.
I am Gen X, but officially, it's like from 75 to 80 something. There's a massive crossover because, like, Kathy and Roger are the same Gen X as me, but I feel nothing at all like them. You know what I mean? Their opinions are very different.
I think you're probably similar to me though.
Yeah, but I'd class you as an Xennial.
An Xennial.
From the baby boomer generation.
When did the
Millennials, 83. You're a millennial, aren't you?
Although,
So yeah, a boomer is what the young kids call anybody old, but actually no, from the baby boomer generation.
Like my mum's a boomer. That was after the war, wasn't it?
Yes, after the war.
And technically she was conceived before the end of the war.
Let me double check, Rosemary. I will have a look.
the doomer generation. Play Doom on PC.
I don't even know what that is.
I think I played Doom.
Yeah. With
That's
all
like,
the
that
satanic.
was one of the first ones where you're
Yeah.
looking around where you're going. Yeah. I think I played that. I'm sure I played that.
Satanic panic,
PC.
and they were all like, oh, it's worshiping the devil. Actually,
Right, so the silent generation was 1926 to 45. The baby boomers,
Actually,
which
something like
is from
45.
45, 46, yeah,
That's my parent.
46 to 64. Gen X is 66 to... What happened to 1965? If you're born in 1965, you are nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, that's about right.
66 to 80 is Gen X. Oh, Kathy isn't Gen X. She's a boomer then. That's why we're different.
There you go.
Because she was 60 this year. So she'd have born in 63.
There you go then.
She's a boomer. Oh, well, that's perfect. And we're supposed to be resourceful, logical and good problem solvers, Gen Xers.
Pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Boomers are committed, self-sufficient and competitive, apparently, according to psychology. That's not my opinion. Millennials, confident, curious and question authority.
it's my God-given right to have a nap.
Yes, basically anyone who's retiring, that having worked for 40 years is a boomer. Yes, basically. Gen Z.
They're the after millennials, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the ones born 1997. Or some say 1993, and some say 2000.
Well, depending on which year it is, I was at a Gen Z birthday party. Not last week, maybe the weekend before.
Yeah, that's
Of
true.
my
About
TikTok friends with a load of TikTok friends.
Oh.
My second TikTok meetup, I think that was.
oh, that's cool. Rosemary saying about a large number of these women are dying in poverty. Are they the waspy women? Yes. Very bad. Waspy women, WASP. They're women that were promised a pension and never got it.
Keep adding bits. I'm trying to keep on track on what you're actually doing.
I'm not sure.
No, maybe not.
I'm just fucking around.
So I'm going to darken that ear now. I'm going to finish darkening that ear. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Trying to make some silly singing noises.
Yeah,
Yes.
caffeine's kicked in.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't give it you any earlier.
Why not? No, you gave me 2 cups of coffee you had last week.
Look, I said don't get used to that. I was just being nice.
Like this sort of preferential treatment should be happening all the time.
Basically, he was late, Helen, because his shift had changed.
Without me knowing.
And I said, well, what time are you going to get here? He said, 20 past. Do you still want me to come? And I said, yes, that is fine. And at 7 o'clock, I set everything up. We had some others in the room. And I said, oh, shall I be nice and trace his outline for him so he hasn't got a stress. So I traced his outline, and at 7:20 I made him a coffee because he was coming straight from work, and I put his coffee on his desk, and I said to him, do not get used to this. This is a one-off. The ones who fought for equality, being allowed to work without giving sexual favours, yes. Being allowed to open bank accounts without daddy's permission. The waspy women, that age group.
Which age group is this now?
Well, tail end of boomers, really. Fight for equality. Yes, because you couldn't have mortgages, could you? Women weren't allowed mortgages on their own without... well, they couldn't get one. It's crazy, isn't it, to think that that's within living memory of people.
Yeah.
And it seems we're almost going back that way, I think, with rights. I think the millennium was the turning point, and we've gone backwards since then. Because in the 90s, we were just like, guy wants to wear a dress, don't matter. Wants to wear eyeliner, guyliner. I remember guyliner was a big thing. Well, so what? He wants to call himself Miranda. Don't matter. Nothing mattered. We just said, oh, that's that guy, or that's that girl. Nobody questioned anything. You know, gay rights was all big and in, and everything was cool. And then since the millennium, it's kind of got nasty.
It's now just to put it right. I have got a lot of friends who are trans, but there are some of them who almost seem to. Some of them I get completely, and absolutely their right to change, absolutely no problem, and I've not had any problem in misgendering them since they changed, whatever. But then there's some who you just think you are just doing this because you want to be awkward. There's one person I know, and they just, it's like they were born female, they claim to be male, but they still wear dresses, and then get angry when they get misgendered. And you're like, but it's confusing to anybody.
It's confusing enough, isn't it?
All the people who change, and but I don't get it when they're just, I don't know, I just find that really confusing.
Oh, when Rosemary tried to get a mortgage on her own, the Halifax said, you might get pregnant. When get a mortgage without them, with them without getting married.
Nice.
How things have changed.
How intimate was she with your mortgage then for that to happen? How intimate with the mortgage was she for that to happen?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it?
And then you just think about if somebody had done that to me. I mean, I've tried to get pregnant all my life.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, I have no choice in that matter.
No, it's a very
actually
crazy
really
thing,
cruel.
isn't it?
It's really cruel.
It's not. It's
Emotions,
not. Yes, it is. I'm going to do a little bit of a black short line, and I'm not going to wet this. I don't think. Little.
I was wondering how you were going to do that because I kept trying to do it and it's not going.
Like almost little fluffy lines. Yeah, like eyelashes. The only bit left to do was same. Yeah, you're right. And I honestly do believe that things have really gone downhill. We seemed far more accepting as society. Far more accepting of anybody and anything. Race, religion, gender, sexuality, didn't matter. As long as you're a decent person, that's all anybody worried about. But I think you're right, Dan. I think maybe the internet, because this is all pre-internet. I mean, even at the millennium, it wasn't as bad as it is now.
Anonymity that it used to give, like in all these forums and that, so you could be an absolute tosspot.
But it does show, though, that these people must have always existed, but they just didn't. They couldn't conform because society wouldn't let them conform because we knew it wasn't the right thing to do. But now it's almost the opposite, isn't it? Where you're accepted and expected to be horrible and rude and mean, and nice people are ridiculed. And in fact, I can prove that because, like, the reel I did on being kind, as just so many people are saying, I needed to hear this, and this is so useful for all areas of life. Do you know, so many things like that, and I just think, and that's just a little 1 minute video on how, just be kind to each other, and I can't believe that it has such a profound effect on people who clearly need to hear someone say that. Very sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunately there's a lot of horrible people on the internet.
There is. I'm just softening the lower
I
part.
never wanted to do TikTok at first, and actually, I've only ever had one person being
What, really nasty?
really nasty comments, and it was when I was doing an ironic post, and I mean they were like, I can't believe you'd say that about people who have disabilities and are old, and it's like, but if you listen to the video, I'm talking on the phone to COVID. It's not real. I'm not actually on the phone to COVID. I don't actually mean what I'm saying. It's supposed to be satirical.
Yes, I think a lot of
Like,
I think a lot of people lose that, and it's the same as when you see clickbait headlines. Most people don't read the headline, won't read the article, so they just assume, and then they'll go off on one. It's a very crazy world. In fact, I've got to say, Instagram and TikTok are the two most supportive platforms.
Yeah.
Facebook and YouTube, no. YouTube is
The
awful.
number of comments I've put and I've gone, no, I'm not even going to go there because.
No, I go to reply.
That's Facebook for you, though.
It's just a shame that lots of others don't.
Yes.
You know,
Have you
Which
come
is
across,
stupid.
Is it Becky Jert?
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to meet her.
Do you know, I was
I'd
so
love to meet
tempted the
her.
other day when she was saying, will somebody come to the game cafe
well,
with
I
me?
might contact her because apparently somebody said that she couldn't go and play something because she didn't know how to play.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you know what, I might just tell her to meet down.
Yeah, I was
I've no idea
I
who
was
she
busy
is,
and I thought, do you know what?
Really wanna
Do I
meet
will
her.
I go, or it's a bit weird with you know, being a bloke, but
I might,
yeah.
but it could be alright if I did that.
yeah. There was somebody. I think somebody else did go to the
Yeah.
game cafe with her when she asked the first time, because she seems her heart's in the right place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can see she's got
probably got some sort of
SEN or
learning
something.
disability.
Yeah, she has.
Definitely. But I don't even know how old she is. I know nothing about her. But I
Some
know she
some
likes
people are
cats.
very cruel to
And
her
I
on
really
there.
like cats too. So maybe we can go find a cat game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame that people are so cruel to her, because it's clear that, you know, she has got some issue socially or
But at the same time,
emotionally.
there's quite a lot of people who are quite supportive.
Yeah.
And almost kind of, because I know she says, what does everybody think? And people
Yeah.
start writing, what does everybody think?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think it's so lovely. That
Yeah, it
a lot of
is.
People have kind of adopted her, if that makes sense.
Right, I'm going to do some cross hatching on the far right bottom end.
Ahead of you, Barry.
I've just glanced over, Daniel. Yes.
Oh. I feel that we haven't done his nose yet.
No, we will do his nose. Don't panic. Don't
What else
panic.
haven't I done? His other eye.
It's inside his ear,
His ears, yeah. Okay.
and we've got 20 minutes. This is not an issue. We can do this, Helen. How are you finding pen and wash?
I'm liking how it's turning out.
It's a bit watercolory and it's a bit not watercolory, isn't it?
Yeah.
But very different to gouache. Do you like pen and wash, Dan?
This one's going alright. I think I needed that break from when you were ill. To be honest with you.
Most people say that about me, to be fair, Dan.
And you know, but you know, I've got a very full calendar, so I
Yeah.
think after a while I just started producing crap. So, and even then I came away from a lot of your lessons hating what I made.
Yes.
But the last couple after the break have been actually, you know, this one included.
But I think with creativity as well, it won't always arrive at 7 o'clock on a Monday evening, will it? You know, it's. I think we expect.
Are you on
we-
pen doing
yeah.
watching? Yes.
I think we expect a lot of ourselves. I mean, the thing is, once you get to a certain level of competence, even the bad days, you can make things that are all right. But I forgot I hadn't zoomed out. Sorry.
Just in the wrong place.
Sorry, Barry, I'm doing something slightly different.
Well, that's okay.
It's okay, he needs to do it for me, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's an art class.
No, like you've seen what I've been up to online. You've probably seen my recordings of the data from my exercises and things like that.
Yeah.
And where I'm going 3 hours a swim and stuff like that. Yeah, so I just started to break down a little bit and why I turned round and said to work, I can't do these Saturdays anymore.
I think you've got to know yourself within yourself, haven't you?
I got myself out of my overdraft. That was the main thing.
Oh, I can't do that anymore. I don't earn enough to get out of it. The shop's at the bottom of its overdraft, and that doesn't earn enough to get out of it. And my personal overdraft, I can't. And then you charge 60p a day for being in your overdraft, and I think, well, if you didn't charge me 60p a day, I wouldn't be in it.
I'm in a position where I don't have any debt, but I don't have any money either. So
No.
I'm not got anything to spare. I say that.
I mean,
I did have spare, but I keep spending it on classes.
as a business, we live in the overdraft, but also in order to get anything, we have to have credit. You know, we have to look like we're good creditors, and if you don't have any debt, you're not a good creditor. It's crazy, isn't it?
I lied. I do have a debt because I purposefully bought a sofa on credit to make sure that I don't lose my.
You see, I've got a credit card and an overdraft, and that's it. But the bank actually told me once, not that long ago, you don't earn enough. The only way you can survive is living off your credit card. Thanks for that financial advice.
Did you use?
You go one way,
Yeah, I did that.
and then you go another way, and then another way.
But it also looks like you've got a third way.
You can go 3 ways. And then I'm going to wet that with my big brush.
I've done more of it than you, but.
That's okay, because if you wet it with your big brush, look, and as you come in, you can flick inwards.
Big brush.
Big brush.
Remember flicking ones?
Flick that way, so you're creating the white fur.
Oh, clever. Clever girl. What movie was that?
I don't know.
Jurassic Park.
What did you say, poppadoms?
It's a clever girl.
Oh.
Poppadom would be Red Dwarf.
What was the dinosaur, clever girl? The raptor.
Yes, it was.
I like the one with the ginger one in.
Don't narrow it down.
How are you doing it by the edge of the. Oh. How has it gone up?
Add more water, keep adding
How's
water.
it gone up to him without it blending into what he's doing?
Leave a gap. Tiny gap. Bryce Dallas Howard. Ron Howard's daughter.
Is that the newest?
The newer ones, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get why you'd say that. Yeah.
I did watch Doctor Who.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it for years, but it did actually feel like the old.
So, how did they explain Tennant's return?
I don't want to spoil it if
I don't
Ellen's
mind you
not
doing
in it.
that. I'm not very good at stuff like that anyway.
I don't. They kind of didn't in a way. Because of having it needed to be his face in order to help Donna.
Right.
Because it was all centered around Donna
Okay.
and what happened when she and he had to part ways.
Okay. That explains how he reverse regenerated, or is this a completely out of sequence story?
No, it's not. He didn't. His face came back afterwards, and he's. It was really weird, and he couldn't work out why have I got this face now? I've been 3 other doctors since. Why have I got this face? And it was all because of where it was all leading.
Right.
It made sense, and it was fun, and it was light-hearted like it used to be.
Okay.
I did watch the Dicky Bow one, Matt.
Matt Smith, I like.
Yeah.
Does your cross-hatching still appear underneath it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like Matt Smith because of Karen Gillan.
May I have a Marstic? Just because I'm going to put my hand in something wet in a second. Oh, not like that. Look.
Oh yes, damp patch.
Please don't.
No, that's fine. That's looking alright. That.
I did a touch there and I didn't mean to.
That's alright. See, if you
And I've
wanted
got
to
a
make
straight
that.
line there, and I couldn't. I was thinking, how do I get rid of that straight line? Because I didn't. Do I need
Yeah.
to redo it once it's dry?
Yeah, what you can do when it's dry, add some more darks and just
Yeah, do it again.
because it is quite patchy in that
Yeah.
picture. I mean, you could add a few darks up here, and you know, as long as it's not too close to Mr. Fox.
And I need it to dry first. Go from one place. Is that right?
Yeah.
Careful, you don't want, if you've got any wet bits, you might fly it all over the place. Or,
No, it's not that wet.
okay, so for me, mine was streaming, so that's why I stopped.
Yeah, no, it's not that wet.
And that's the warning.
But thank you.
No, no worries. Last thing I want to do is have someone ruin the work. Unintentionally.
Oh, I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Especially if they're starting to look better than mine.
You complete sadist.
Are you? You're
I've
penning
gone
in the
pen in his ear
I may as well do that while I'm
And you're
waiting
wetting
for
it
the
as
rest
well.
and then wetting it just to intensify it.
You doing the same with the other ear?
Only a little bit because he's only got a tiny bit of dark in that one, hasn't he? How are we doing? 10-2. This is fine. It's all fine. Everything is fine.
No, it's not fine if you're saying it like that. Panic, panic.
Everything is wonderful. I am happy.
Well, that's a TikTok, isn't it?
I am safe. So he's got his eyebrows to put on, his long feathery eyebrows, his whiskers and his nose.
I like this.
Well, see,
Mm.
we do it once a month.
But you said it's because it's all water-based stuff.
Mm.
I obviously like watercolours. I didn't like the acrylic.
No.
It might have been subject. I don't know, but I didn't enjoy it as much.
Well, you see, gouache is in between acrylic
Yeah,
and
you said you
watercolour
like- that's
because
your
you can
favourite, isn't
you
it?
can reblend it when it's dry,
Yeah,
so you can fiddle more with gouache.
but I do like this. This is lovely. I will probably have a go at this at home sometime.
I just saw that comment, Rosemary, about how the comments on our posts crack you up. I know people are funny. People are
Which brush
funny.
did you use on the ears?
The middle one.
Same with how I feel, very.
I haven't stopped. And like this week, I've got 3 evenings I'm working. I'm doing 3 evenings a week and 7 days until Christmas. And I've got a week off in between Christmas and New Year. Well, whatever it is, I don't think it's a full week, but from Christmas Day till the 2nd of January. We reopen on the 2nd of Jan. It's only, what, like 5 days, isn't it?
Are we doing the big black whiskers on the side of his?
I am. I want to do his nose first, and then... Or should I do the whiskers first?
No, I should do the nose first.
I don't know, because I'll probably lean on it, Dan. Actually, it's still a bit wet, so I'm going to do eyebrows. He's got a couple of eyebrows.
This pen. Yeah.
Yes. I don't think my background's dry enough for that. It looks like there's another one there. And then he's got those little dots, those cute little dots. Do you know how I fall asleep? I often fall asleep in the living room, which I annoy myself at because I don't intend to, but I was under a blanket last night. I watch old episodes of Most Haunted and they send me to sleep. I find them comforting. I don't know why.
That's weird.
I love Most Haunted.
Too fake for me.
It's not fake, it's real.
I don't get it.
I loved all of Derek Acora. Wherever they were in the country, whoever possessed Derek Acora was always Scouse. I loved it.
Nah.
Me and my mum used to love watching it together. I think that's probably what it is.
I don't think it's something you can capture on the telly.
Sorry?
I don't think it's something you can capture on the telly.
No.
I've seen ghosts here.
I have like.
But you've not captured it on the telly, though, have you?
No, I haven't, because I wasn't expecting to catch a ghost.
And that's how it would make the most sense.
I've left a bit of his nose white, look. I've coloured his nose in, and I've left a bit of it white just so it gives me a little bit of tone, but then I'll have to stick his nostrils back.
So what? Sorry, what did you do?
I did all of that dark, and this bit I left light,
Okay.
just so it's a little bit softer.
Okay. And are you just colouring it in this one?
Yeah.
It's a solid colour.
I've added a bit of water to it afterwards, though. And then I'll go darker with his nostrils.
Afterwards.
Yeah, when it's dry.
Just waiting for our AI system to become self-aware and Skynet.
I love AI, I do.
It's interesting though, because I always think, isn't it supposed to like AI's come from? Sorry, the arty AI is
Oh, it's theft.
people. It's theft.
It is theft.
Of artists. So I'm surprised you like it. It's on that basis.
Well, I think, what can you do? You know, if you're putting your work out on the internet, you can't control it.
It's the people that refer to themselves as digital artists when all they're doing is putting some keywords.
You see, that's different. And what does frustrate me in terms of, I see a lot of animal pages sharing, look at this cute baby peacock, and it's not, it's AI generated. I have no problem about people using AI as long as they say it's made with AI. It's like the bid on their Facebook page are all AI poems through ChatGTP. I know because I asked the same thing in ChatGTP and it came up with exactly the same format and structure, exactly the same. Bambrashire Info is doing exactly the same with all of its posts, which is fine, but it's lazy. Where I think AI is useful, because they say AI will replace people, it won't. It will only replace stupid people, because non-stupid people realise that they can't just copy and paste AI, and they've got to at least understand English if they're doing a poem or something. You see, that the toadstool painting was AI originally. I couldn't find toadstools in the snow, so I asked AI to do a photo of toadstools in the snow.
See, that's where I think it's acceptable.
And
using it to
get references.
Create a reference or create something.
But then
that you can inspire
the
yourself with.
toadstools didn't look real enough, so then I looked for reference images of toadstools, and then I, Photoshop them on top of the AI to give me an even better reference. So that's where I think AI is a good tool. But just saying, paint a picture of a ballerina dancing with a frog, and then in an oil painting style, and then it generates it, and then you say this is AI art. Well, I'm now a digital artist, then that is not correct. Your AI program is being the digital artist, and it's actually just nicking somebody else's picture. So it's not art. Definitely not art. But I do find AI useful. I know a lot of teachers do it to produce lesson plans as well now, or to get an idea for lesson plans.
Where I feel that people are just going to not want to think, just let the AI run it, but then that's where you're going to run into problems.
I think we're already at that point
Running into problems
of people not wanting to think. Yeah. I think that's
and that's where we can do with less stupid people.
But I saw something the other day, and it really hit home. It's people that should be working less and spending time making art and poems. Instead, we're working more, and it's AI that's creating art and poems, which is very true. If we're going to use AI, it should be done to replace the rubbishy stuff, to allow us to be human rather than slaves to work.
I think my favourite meme at the minute that I've seen is Terminator. What we what movies would make out IAO to become, and then there's a picture of Bob Ross with the Terminator skull on. Afterwards, what it is in reality, and I was just like, ha! It's so true.
So I re-crosshatched and now I thought it was dry, but the crosshatch is very solid.
Not dry.
Not dry.
Can you turn the crosshatch into grass?
Not very easily.
It's that's the trickiest bit, Helen, is even if it feels dry, sometimes it ain't. But it's about the technique today for you, isn't it? But it's a shame. I don't think it'll have ruined it, because the fox is still good, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you can't take a photo of it.
You could always watercolour over it or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I've done for some pen and washes, I've added pastels, chalk pastels, just to give it a tint, which looks really nice. I did one of a cottage, with trees, Welsh cottage, and trees, and everything was just so purple you couldn't differentiate the cottage from the background. So I just put a bit of chalk on my finger and rubbed it over the area that I wanted the colour, and it worked really, really well.
Never watched
Terminator. I was never into that kind of stuff. I did watch one Terminator, the first one. Is that the one with the metallic policeman?
No, that is number 2.
Oh, I've seen 2 as well then.
Terminator 2 is the best one, although it's like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Is the sequel better because it stands alone on its on its own, or is it because it built off of the other one?
Yeah, would the second one have been as good if it was the first one, you mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
Or the only one.
That's what I'm trying to say,
See, Mary Poppins 2, I think, would be successful on its own.
I love it.
Because
It was definitely in the keeping.
I was a massive Mary Poppins fan as a child. I used to watch it nearly every day.
That came out while I was coming here, wasn't it?
Mary Poppins 2, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah. Because what I loved, what almost made me teary was at the end of Mary Poppins 2, where Dick Van Dyke's name changed around, which it did in the first one. And Angela Lansbury being in it. Oh, nowhere to go
And the
but
fact that
up.
Dick Van Dyke was still in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was lovely.
And they kept true to the idea of the story. And I think Mary Poppins was actually more like how Mary Poppins should have been. Julie Andrews wasn't waspish enough, I don't think. In the first film, yeah. Oh, and it was the little cameo. The woman that played Jane was in Mary Poppins 2.
Was she?
Yeah.
What was she?
When they're leaving the house, there's a blonde lady, an older lady, that walks past and talks to young Jane,
Oh.
and that's Michel Detrice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the guy that played Michael died when he was very young, early 20s, I think, wasn't he? Because they were also brother and sister in a film called The Gnome-Mobile in the 90s, a Disney film about these kids that go on an outing with their grandfather in an old-fashioned car into the forest, and they meet a family of gnomes, and they think they're the last gnomes, but they've heard there are other gnomes somewhere else.
It's Disney.
Disney's Gnome-Mobile. It will be.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, I absolutely was obsessed with the Gnome-Mobile. So basically, my whole childhood consisted of watching the Gnome-Mobile, Mary Poppins, and Calamity Jane.
Water Babies.
Water Babies.
Water Babies.
Yes.
Is the one that I watched over and over. And I have actually downloaded a copy on Prime.
Hi, Cockalorum.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I'd forgotten all about Water Babies. The lady with the glasses, the old lady, she used to scare me a little bit.
Oh, but she was everywhere, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Tring.
That's, yeah.
Because she was the woman in the... It was just a floating head.
Yes.
She was the old woman walking along that got shoved
Yeah.
over. She was everywhere.
Hi,
But yeah, that
hi,
point,
hi,
do
hi, cockalorum.
I can't believe that this line. We're kind of a bit
Friends
nuts about
together,
lines,
stick it
but
together.
the box I'm really happy with.
These are brill. Ian.
Brill is fine. I have a T-shirt somewhere saying Mega Brill.
Mega brill.
Because that was a phrase I used a lot when I was little. And actually, I was in a play. That's why I've got a T-shirt with it on. I was in a play, and it was one of the lines that she had. And that's why I made a T-shirt with it.
I was all fan-dabby dozy because I was obsessed with Jimmy Frankie.
I've got.
I wanted to be
Now I
Jimmy
know
Frankie.
where that phrase comes from.
Oh!
I had a dentist that used to say that.
Fan-dabby dozy!
Yeah.
Daniel, let's look at yours first.
See, I was
I haven't
more.
done the last bit yet.
Ooh, apple crush sugar. You don't mind if you
I'm
are.
Oh, stew pot, fracture.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. It was Stu Francis.
There we go. Now it's free.
Is it? Yeah, Stu Francis.
Yeah.
Ooh, apple crush sugar. Oh, I like it.
That's lovely, Helen.
That's not bad for my first one, is it?
No, and you can't photograph it until tomorrow.
I can't take a picture till tomorrow.
That's lovely. That is really lovely. Really lovely.
So you said I can't do a lot with it in terms of. Sorry, if it's on the wall, it's going to fade.
It will fade, and if it's in a darker room, or if you've got UV reflective glass, but it eventually will.
So is it daylight that does it?
Yeah.
So actually, my living room is probably fine to put it up in there.
Okay.
Because it gets very little daylight.
That's
in my
nice,
living room,
Dan.
just outside. Beautiful.
Pleased?
That's really good.
He looks very sage and wise. Like the daddy of the pack.
You've got a lot more texture on yours. So
Yeah, look at that.
love it. It's amazing.
Well done, Daniel. Very good.
Thank you.
Rosemary, I look forward to seeing yours. They have both done very well, she says.
This is where you have to sign it. I've been doing that. So as
Good.
I've got a pen here right now, I should put my name.
Exactly, you
I won't
should.
put a date on it though, like you said,
Just in case.
just in case.
Don't put it down.
I don't
If you
date it.
date it, then it means if either I give it as a gift, it's like I can pretend I've just done it especially for them.
Yes.
Or if I'm selling it, I could.
Yes, because I used to.
So don't date it as a form of manipulation.
Yeah, basically.
I like how you had a grin there and your eyes lit up.
Because if you, I've done it though. I have had paintings in exhibitions where I've dated them, and they haven't sold. And then 3 years later, if I sell it again, it looks like you're rubbish, and you can't sell your work because you've got paintings from 5 years ago or 10 years ago on the walls. You know, people are fickle like that.
I thought I traced it, so I thought it'd be the same shape, but my nose looks.
Oh, I think you do a lovely. Oh yeah. No, I don't know. I think it looks all right.
It looks older though than that one.
Yeah,
It's like a
it is
baby
about.
one.
It is a younger fox. Oh, Rosemary's going to try and draw him later. I think Rosemary's amazing at drawing animals. You'll do a wonderful job. So thank you very much, Rosemary.
I like animals because my deer's one of my favourites now.
So it's December next week.
It is.
Oh, so that means it's going to be watercolours. So, we've got 2 gouaches as well. So we've got a watercolour and 2 gouaches. So watercolour, Snowy Lane with a tree. Next week, 4th of December.
I will be there. If I can
Scary.
put it on your list.
Yep.
And did you get? I assume you also got Amy's message saying she's not going to be at Clipperby either.
Yes.
I'm not at Clipperby this time.
No.
I'm away that weekend.
You're both in January though, aren't you?
I haven't decided.
Okay.
probably.
Okay. So,
What are we doing in January? I'm gutted actually because it's the Christmas, isn't it? The Christmas Eve one that you're doing.
yeah,
And I'm kind of
calligrams. We are doing this
that
time.
was the reason I came in the first place, was because Amy showed me all the Christmas stuff she did last year, and I came to the January one. Was my first one.
Flourished Italics in January.
Is that back round to what we did a year ago?
I don't know. Because there's not that many
The thing is,
different
at the moment, I'm
things.
sort of thinking I'm really enjoying the artwork,
Do that then.
but money is an
Yeah.
issue. So I think I might.
Yeah, that the January one is something that you would be able to do because it's just italics with a bit of an extra flick.
Yeah. And I think
You're all right with that.
I'm all right with it. I think
Yeah, come to the
art
more
stuff,
unique
though,
ones.
I'll
I'm-
post that today.
Okay.
It's so relaxing and it's
Mm.
really, it's lovely to come and just
Yeah,
do stuff.
yeah. I
Really
think
relaxing.
switch it round. So thank you, Rosemary. Bye bye.